Thankfully, the world's starting to open up again to travel. So here are a few of my favourite travel tips. Do you want better service in flight? Here's what I've done on a couple of occasions, and it's worked a treat. I take a pen, take some paper with me, and I write a note to one of the cabin crew. Put it in an envelope, and I give it to them as they walk past. Of course, the note is complimentary about something you've already experienced on the flight, but the chances of that person having ever received a complimentary note before are minuscule. It stands out. And just watch how good service becomes amazing service from there on. If you're wanting tickets to major sporting events and you don't want to pay full price, sometimes you don't have to. What do? Well, you roll up early to the event with a sign saying tickets needed, and often there are people who have had friends let them down, they're holding an extra ticket and they don't want to make a profit out of it. A lot of the time, they'll sell it to you for less than face value. If you're happy to accept the chance that you may dip out, you can often find yourself the recipient of a major sporting ticket at less than face value. I recently had need to reduce a car rental booking by 1 day. So I contacted the rental company and said, hey, I don't want it for 7, just want it for 6. They said, fine. But when I went to look at the new one, they wanted 2.5 times more because I'd booked this some time ago. So the cheaper option in that instance is to leave the booking for the same length of time and just say, look, I'm going to be a little bit late picking it up. It's a wise idea to make sure all your valuable items are marked with your name and a contact number or email address. And that saved me close to 7,000 euros this week. I sat there and that's where my camera was. Buongiorno. I am the man. I am so embarrassed. Grazie. Yes, I left it on the seat in that cafe, but luckily the guys at Cafe Milani rang the phone number on the camera and I was reunited with it. Don't always assume it's cheaper to buy a one-way fare than a return. Here's an example that I had to look up today. Return, Istanbul to Dallas, close enough to 3,800 Australian dollars. One way, 4,500. So what do? You buy the return and you put the forward date way forward because you may end up having to use it at a later date. And if you don't use it, it just lapses. If you fly into one of Russia's airports, be very careful about booking a taxi through the counters inside the terminal. I did this when I came into Moscow, and as a lot of you pointed out, I got reamed. Far better off getting the Yandex app and booking online, if you're prepared to wait a few minutes for your car to roll up. This is a taxi to Standard Hotel.
Standard
yes.
Hotel, Moscow.
9,300
A
rubles.
business card.
The last time I had just a taxi. So last time I paid 9,300 rubles, and you saw the taxi I got. Well, it's still 9,300, but they say it's a business class car, which it wasn't. But if you go onto the app, it is 1,600 rubles. So that's a discount of just over 7,500 rubles for simply ordering a taxi with Yandex and going out there. If you see this counter here, know that you are going to be paying way over the mark. And if you're happy with that, as I was because I thought they were legitimate, just be aware you are getting reamed. Take something from the hotel minibar and plan to replace it with something, say from the local convenience store, just be wary that some hotels buy products that aren't sold at common convenience stores. So if you're faced with the choice of, say, a Kit Kat or a Mars bar and you want to replace it, make sure that you take the item that's easily replaceable and not a hard-to-find product that's made specifically for the hotel chain. All of your travel apps in one file on your phone. That way you're not having to search when you need them quickly. That's not my idea, that was Sean's. Thank you, Sean, for sending that one in. It's wise to check in for your flight online before you leave home. Why? Some airlines, particularly in America, will bump unchecked passengers before they'll bump checked passengers. So if you want to minimize the chance of being offloaded from your flight, check in online before you leave home. I've been told, but haven't confirmed it, that if your phone is low on battery and you book an Uber, you're going to get a higher price than somebody who's got a full battery, because Uber thinks you'll pay more because you're desperate. If you've tested this, please leave your comments below. On a lot of overnight international flights, business and first class passengers are offered amenity kits. Often at the end of a flight, there are kits left over. So it doesn't hurt to ask for an extra one if you're flying business or first, or even if you're in economy, asking as you leave. If you've made a good impression with the staff, often they'll turn a blind eye and hand you one. If you travel a lot and you have to keep track of your expenditure while you're on the road, get an app to do it for you. The one I use is Genius Scan. It's excellent. Allows me to take pictures of all my receipts, keep them in one folder, and automatically send a JPEG or a PDF to my office. I'm sure there are other ones out there, but I love Genius Scan, and it certainly saves me time. Not acceptable in most countries to wear your pajamas to breakfast at a restaurant. What was this guy thinking? I caught him 2 days in a row here at this hotel wearing his pajamas to the buffet. For the record, it's frowned upon. If you're flying economy with a friend and you're going on a plane with 3 seats either side of the aisle and you'd like to sit alone, do this. Book the window and book the aisle, leave the middle seat free. Most times it will remain free because nobody wants to sit in the middle seat. And if somebody does sit in the middle seat, you simply say, hey, would you like to sit on the aisle or the window? They'll always say yes. If you're flexible with your air travel and you want the best value flights, fly on a Wednesday. Studies show that Wednesday is the most economical day for airline travel. If you're traveling with your pet on an aircraft and the pet is traveling in the hold, make sure you include a frozen bottle of water. Why? Because condensation forms on the outside of the bottle, allowing your dog to drink throughout the flight. If you're staying in a hotel and you need washing done, you'll know how darn expensive it can be getting it done by the hotel. However, there are new apps popping up in all sorts of cities that find you a local person to do your washing. They pick it up dirty and drop it back clean. You'll save a fortune on what the hotel will charge. Don't use black lane transfers. I've booked them twice now to pick me up from airports. And they take the booking, no problem at all. And then a few hours prior, they send you a note and saying, yeah, we can't help you. What's the point of taking the booking? Waste my time. Always pack a spare phone, because if someone nicks yours, you'll want to have a spare one handy. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching and stay passionate.